Welcome to chapter 33. We're going to be continuing having a look at the Mari cultural scene this week, specifically music, and we're going to continue having a look at derivational morphology, specifically adjective derivation in Mari. And we're going to be meeting a lot of old friends here, but we're also going to be looking at a few new suffixes, and we're going to have a nice structured view of everything, hopefully. Okay, give me one moment. So before we get to adjectival derivation, we are going to meet some new indefinite markers, like markers that you can attach to indefinite pronouns, to interrogative pronouns to create indefinite forms in quite a comparable manner where how we form from mo, what, iktash mo, and alamo, something, anything. And these two prefixes that we have are керек and ketch. The difference between these two is as we could not find a clear semantic distinction between them. So they seem to be fairly comparable. And if anything, I could imagine that there's some dialectal distribution here, but I have no straightforward, I cannot give you any straightforward distinction between the two. What they are, however, kitsch is, even though you wouldn't immediately see it, this is a borrowing from Russian, and that's Russian chot, where the ch became a k and the ch became a ch. And kerek is a word that in Mari on its own generally it means like it's used to say that you don't care about something. Like if you say that I don't care, but usually it's like a bit more colloquial than that. It's like closer to I don't give a s ... You'd say malam kerek, like it's like it's fairly similar. Like in German, you would say mir ist es wurscht, mir ist es egal, with the dative form or so. So in Mari, you also say to me it is, who cares? And this indifference is also here when we have these interrogative forms. They are comparable to English forms ending in ever, like whoever, wherever, whatever, whenever. Basically, you don't care. You are expressing your indifference to where or what or whatever it is. So yeah, we can attach it to pronominal stems, ke, who, kerek, ke, ketch, ke, whoever, mogai, what kind of, kerek, mogai, ketch, mogai, whatever kind. Who cares? And we can also attach it to any other question word, any adverbial question mark, kuze, what kind, kerek, like how, kerek, kuze, however. Kunam, when, kerek, kunam, whenever. Kushto, where, ketch, kushto, who cares where, no matter where. And yeah. Here we see some usage examples where hopefully this indifference is also expressed. Ketch, kuze, ishtiza, do it however. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. Керек kunam, a less belligerent example, керек kunam tolenkerte, that you can come whenever. It does not make a difference to me. When you come, you are always welcome. Kind of. And now a more belligerent example, ketch kushko kai, go wherever you go, I'll find you. There's no hiding, basically. Okay, any questions about this, or is this straightforward enough? Well, I think it's straightforward enough. So it's like with these indefinite forms, at first it can be almost a bit shocking that you have so many different ones in Mari, but the usages can be clearly delimited. And I mean, we've got so many of them in English too, like someone, anyone, whoever, etc. And these no one also, these forms that are like fall in the same category, but are obviously not fully interchangeable. Okay. Second point we have in the grammar is the secondary usage of the possessive suffix second person singular, as we have already discussed many times how the possessive suffix third person singular can be used as a marker not of possession but of determination of sorts, or to denote that something is part of a greater sample of a greater group of things. Second person singular can also be used in a non-possessive function, but it's not quite the same thing. Where it's like here it is more like the whole function of part of a whole that is completely not relevant in the second person singular. It's it's kind of like also a determining element of sorts. This is taken from a song, Easy Vudet Yogalesh, like the little water flows, like your little water flows, but of course it has nothing to do with you here. Yeah, and sometimes you have it even in combination with an actual possessive suffix, second person singular. And it's more like, I would say it's more like going in the direction of attracting focus in a way, and that it is less like the whole blah 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 stuff, but it's more like strictly focusing the attention. But yeah, it's a bit hard to like really put my finger on it too. And there also seems to be clearly some dialectal differences between usage of this. This came to light recently when Luan and I were working on a paper where we were looking at the distribution of suffix orderings in different varieties of like in Mari, and we discovered that that et occurs much more often, clearly in a determining, like in a non-possessive function after shamach than it does after vlak. And we know that shamach vlak are subject to dialectal distribution. And this would imply that like the dialects in which shamach is the normal plural marker also have a propensity towards using possessive suffix second person singular as a determining element. Or more so than the dialects where vlak is used. Would be just like my first, like the first guess that I have, but like I don't have deeper explanation here. And we do also have it often in combination with an infinitive, but when it is marked with when it is attached to an infinitive, here it does have a fairly unpredictable but specific meaning. Here it is used to express wishes, desires of a sort. Like ech tushko kayashet, it's like ech tushko kayash would be oh to go there, but if you say ech tushko kayashet, it is still like oh to go there, but we're marking now that this is something that would be nice to do. Or umarem liashet pelenem, if you would be beside me, with me for the rest of for the whole life or so. So yeah, and I know that the information I can give you that this is not enough to like competently actively use it like this, but it is hopefully enough to warn you in interpreting possessive suffix second person singular you encounter in texts that don't make any sense in a possessive reading. Okay, having already downselled my competency to explain this phenomenon, are there any questions about this? Okay, good. Then let's yeah, Sonia?
Sorry, Jeremy, I would just like to ask how frequent this is in spoken Mari. Or does it come up only in texts, like written texts?
No, it's also you hear it in colloquial language too. And I mean, I have heard it likened to things like you sometimes have it in like in English too, that like if you're fixing a car or so, and even if it's your own car and your friend is with you and you find a problem, you could say, there's your problem, where it's not necessarily denoting that it is that other person's problem, but it also has some kind of attention focusing function or so. But I don't feel competent to really give a fair assessment of this point at this point in time. Okay, but then let's progress to a less fuzzy topic, and that is adjective derivation, where we're going to look at the different classes of derivational suffixes, which we mostly have already met, with some new ones in the mix here. We're going to be looking at possessive adjectives, adjectives denoting that something has something, something is with something. We have relational adjectives denoting that something has some kind of spatial or temporal relationship with some kind of reference frame. We have privative adjectives denoting that something does not have something, it lacks something. We have purposive adjectives denoting what something is for. And we have approximative adjectives that are weakened of a in some shape or form. And I think that those are new, but I'm not 100% sure. So for every one of these the suffixes that we're looking at, I have 5 examples in the slides. We have 4 students, but I'm going to be joining this exercise too, because it doesn't matter in this case that the order is always the same, I would say. And the task is always then to form the derived form and say what it probably approximately means. And possessive adjectives, one that we have seen a lot and that we looked at already quite some time ago, but we're revising now, is an. Having blah, blah, blah with blah, 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 which I likened to English e, like in cloud, cloudy, etc. Oops, I gave Luan a spoiler here, but that is much wider in its range of functions. So starting with the ordering, Luan, Valentina, Sandra, Sonia, Jeremy, let's see if we can form these and always say the derived form and what it means.
Okay, so we have Bill and then Bilan, and it means cloudy.
Very good.
Then Peledish, flowery.
Mm-hmm.
Bilan, happy.
Mm-hmm.
Gechan, sunny.
Mm-hmm. Uyan, buttery, or greasy also. Okay, so this suffix is 99.9% productive, let's say, or like almost 100% productive, which is to say you can attach it to any stem except where you have, like, where it is blocked by there being a conventionalized form using a different suffix, where then you just have like standing lexemes that you basically have to use. And those use the suffix le, lo, le. I'm not sure if we have already covered this suffix, to be perfectly honest. I think we might have. So this is a Turkic borrowing, and you have it in like it's you have it in Tatar, but you have it in Turkish. And like once you know it in Turkish with its 4 variants that it has in Turkish, which is li, lu, and lü, you see it all over the place. Like if you go in a supermarket and you have some like Turkish products like kefir or ayran or whatnot, you're going to see this suffix all over the place, and you can be like, hey, I know this one from Mari. So yeah, it has basically in Turkic, it has the exact same functions that the Mari an has, but we have like especially attached to stems coming from Turkic. I'm not saying Turkic stems here because some of these are not originally Turkic, like kuat is originally Arabic, just in a nice case where we have exactly the same word in Mari and Indonesian with the same function, because the word has wandered in different directions. Yeah, and so like in cases of these where we have the established forms with le, you can't really use an. It's weird. Okay, but let's see if we can form these forms, starting with Luan again.
So tam and tamle, tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Then cher and cherle, ill, sick.
Yeah.
Kuat and kuat le. Yeah, powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Geroi, geroilo, heroic.
Yeah.
Brave. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Tus and tusle, colorful. So here you see, like you can't say cheram for sick or so, because sick is cherle, and people will look at you strangely if you try to express it some other way. Okay, and yeah, it's not 100. It doesn't 100% hold that you only attach it to Turkic stems like geroi. That's from Russian, but yeah, usually it is attached to Turkic stems that came from or at least through Turkic. So relational adjectives, temporal or spatial relationship. Here, there's also one that a very productive one, which we met quite early along, and that is se, so, se. with a linking vowel where it is necessary. And yeah, and sometimes relational adjectives are tricky to translate because we don't really have like a good counterpart in English at all, but let's do our best starting with Luan again.
So Oleg and Oleg saw, and no idea how to translate this.
Yeah, Oleg saw, like usually I just because in English I just use a noun without any modification. If I want to say like berries in the meadow, meadow berries, something like that. Yeah. And Valentina?
Where is local, place local?
Yeah, very good. Then Sandra?
Touches. Today's.
Yep, very good. And Sonia?
Ulna, below. So ulnas, and it would be the same, like below.
Yeah, lower, something like that, just as an adjective now. And the last one, this is irregular from kizit. Now, you would expect, if it was regular, you would expect kizitse, which sounds kind of stupid if you ask me, and that's then not what it actually is in Mari. It's in kizitse without a linking vowel in this point, and this is in contemporary. And this is an especially important word if you do Mari linguistics, because there are like there's this whole series of books pertaining to like descriptive, like allegedly descriptive, sometimes a bit prescriptive overviews of certain aspects of contemporary Mari. And some of these are in Russian and some of them are in Mari. And if they're in Russian, it's always современный марийский язык. And if it's in Mari, it's кыльце Marielme. And so it's like in science, a very important word too. The next suffix we have, which we have met upon, here it is a question if we want to call it relational, purposive, or even also possessive, because it is somewhere in the functions it's somewhere in the middle somewhere. This is especially productive in Hill Mari, not so productive in Meadow Mari. So sometimes it's like we're going to struggle finding a very good translation, but let's still do our best, starting with Luan again.
So Kudal and Kudalash and middle.
Very good.
Tilze, tilzash, monthly.
Yeah.
Akash, pricey.
Yeah, like having a price, having a value or so, which is then now more like going in the direction of purposive adjective. Yeah.
May I just have a question? Can Akash be translated also as valuable? Something.
Yes, but usually you'd use akle for that.
Okay.
And it's usually Akash you would use with a specific value attached to it.
Okay, so then I and Iash, which is like of how many years?
Yeah, that one we know. That's an important one. And then Janvar, January, Janvar Yash, like for January. And here this is like more than purposive. It's like it would be like my January workload or something like that would be Janvar Yash Pasha. So okay. Then next point are privative adjectives. The not having blah 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 less in English, and this one we have discussed, and that is our good old friend de me, de mo, de me, attached to a nominal stem. When attached to a verbal stem, it's the negative participle. When attached to a nominal stem, it is the Mari counterpart to less. And starting with Luan again.
So your child and your chadime, childless.
And oigo. Oigodimo, light-hearted.
Yeah.
Puis de me.
Puis de me. Yeah.
Toothless.
Very good.
Lim, name, limdeme, nameless.
Lum, snow, lumdemo, snowless. Or snow-free, where here this could in theory also be the negative participle from lumash, like not snowing or so, but who knows, who can say if the stem is both, if this is both a verbal stem or a nominal stem, there is like on the surface no way of distinguishing it. Okay, purposive adjectives, what something is there for. And here we're meeting a suffix again that we have, like we've met several times and we already had it in last week's overview, look, which we had both as in the form to form abstract nouns like poreluk, the goodness or so. And we had also some purposive nouns like shinchalik, the glasses, literally like the 4 eyes things. This is a function, it is like, this is a somewhat strange one. It is productive in the sense that you can attach it to any noun you want, basically, and it seems to always work, but it's not extremely common in its usage. But yeah, let's still try to do it. Starting again with Luan.
So chrono and chronolic and for the way you are.
Then teenlik, for you, meant for you.
Yeah. And I mean, this is something like the usage with personal pronouns, like something that I've heard a lot is like when I want to say that this movie, I don't want to say that it's bad, but it's not for me. Then I say, tida film lik ogel or so. It's like, it's just not for me. Right, Sandra?
Erla, erlalik. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Intended for tomorrow.
Then Sonja?
Mokmer. Mokmerek. Mokmerlek. Intended for like to get drunk or to maybe to get over the hangover. I don't know.
Yes, that's it. It's like against the hangover. It's like if you and it's like I mean, this is not just a Mari thing, this is a general Russian thing, is that everybody has 100,000 remedies against the hangover, and usually most of them are drink more alcohol. Like just the whole like what is it, taking a bite from the dog that bit you principle. But if you'd have like medicine or something that is against the hangover, you would say the mokmerluk m or something like that. Yeah, and then kumet 3, kumetluk 4 3 or so. Okay, last one. Yeah.
Sorry, Jeremy, I have probably a stupid question again. I just wonder, is there a big difference if you use this look and if you use dative lan?
Well, the basic difference is that these are adjectives, and with lan, the forms are predominantly used in adverbial slots, or
okay.
So it's like the syntactic distribution, but from the semantic side, it is fairly similar, and it is not categorically impossible to have a dative form modifying then a noun or so. Like, I don't know, like Yoltashlan, Oksa, money for a friend, it sounds plausible to me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so last adjective we're looking at our overview of the most important derivational suffixes, approximative adjectives like weakening forms where we have the form alge. Orthographically, it can be yalge if necessary. I think we've had this one. It's like especially but not exclusively used with color terms, where it is then like can be ish or so. And yeah, starting with Luan again.
So shem and shemalge, and it means blackish.
Kande, kandalge, bluish.
Yeah.
Shealge, silverish.
Yeah. If we were in the early chapters of textbook, I would attract your attention to the orthographic or shenanigans here, but we are at this point, I think, all used to that. Yeah. Then Sonja.
Gocho, better that was in the song, like human either.
Yeah.
It's like we're singing about the tears or whatever.
Yeah.
So Gocho and Gochalge.
Yeah.
Gochalge.
Yeah. Bitterish. Yeah. About Kocho, I don't remember the context in human Uda specifically, but it's a bit tricky because there are two aspects here. One is that Kocho it's like bitter in a figurative sense, but there's also it is like part of the general Russian wedding customs that there is something where like there's this wish that is said to a couple that is getting married that is like, oh, bitter or so, but I'm not the person to ask for about general Russian wedding customs. Okay, the last one then, leve, warm, levalge is like lukewarm or so. Okay, does anybody have any questions about adjectival derivation? Okay, then in the next lesson, we're going to have the final big block of this main exercise, which is verbal derivation. But yeah, Sandra? Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. No.
No, it was just me cheering for verbal
Okay,
derivation. Sorry.
Okay, I only saw one hand, so it looked like you had a question. Accidental cropping. Okay, then word and word usage. We have a few notes to make here. One is the postposition guy, which like phrases using guy can be used in different contexts. And I'm saying phrases using guy because this is something that seems to be a fairly ironclad rule in Mari's syntax, is that words that start with g or d, like postpositions, they can never occur in the initial position. They need a host word of some sort. You generally can't start a sentence with guy. There has to be something before it. And there, like this rule I just established, you might be able to find some examples, like some counterexamples somewhere, but generally, g or d means it needs a reference word, because also the pronunciation of the g depends on the preceding word, because it's like after obstruents, it's pronounced actually as a k, and after either sonorant consonants or vowels, it's pronounced as a g. Okay, the usages that we have, it can be used to modify verbs. So the phrase, this is always pertaining to the whole phrase, guy plus its reference words. They can be used to modify verbs. So like a very traditional adverbial usage. When I want to say that somebody, like if I'm telling somebody that you look like your, it's mother here. This is a mistake in the textbook. I'm gonna fix this. If I want to say that like you look like your mother or you look like your father, it would be, you can either say avat guy, or you can say avat la, or avat semen. Like all three of these work in this specific context. I think we've already discussed the difference between avat la and avat semen, where semen is more like in a way of, whereas la is more just like the visual similarity. Or you can also have like somebody singing like Madonna, can be Madonna guy, Madonna semen, Madonna la. Okay, so the guy phrases can modify then a verb. They can also modify an adjective. And this is now something here, it is not interchangeable with semen or la anymore. Only guy can do the things that I'm showing now. That if I want to say like somebody is strong like a bear, rich like Bill Gates, or clever as me. Ooh, nice. Let's have a little bit of narcissism in here. Then guy is the way to go. Like Maska guy Vian, strong as a bear. Bill Gates guy Poyan, rich as Bill Gates. Me gayem ushan, smart as me. We can also modify nouns with the whole guy phrases, which is to say that the whole phrase is used basically adjectively. I can say Tuden kande kava gai shinchaje. She, they has eyes eyes like the blue sky, or so. Or onchiko oshkelash milana. Like in order to move forwards, Echan gai reveze vlak. Like young men like Echan we need for that. Okay, and the final point that we have here on like the distribution of guy is that the whole phrase serves as a noun. And then when we have that via conversion, that we say the whole guy phrase is now being used as a noun, we can also use it anywhere where we would use a noun. Like me, lachak tillion gayem mu nem. I want to find some like somebody exactly like you. We can then have it in a plural, for example. Que memnan gai vlaklan polshash tungalesh. Who will help? Memnan gai, like the ones like us, the ones that are like us, or so. Sergei Gai Dene Kugesh Man. One must be proud of those that are like Sergei. And then when we have it as a noun, we can even have like adjective or derivations attached to it or whatever. It can do what a noun can do when we're using this whole phrase as a noun, which was like relevant in when working on the morphological analysis, because Guy is in the like in our lexicon to start with. We had it in there as a postposition. But this is all like syntactic stuff that you would not expect from a postposition. So we ended up having to say it's a postposition, but it's also an adjective and it's also a noun, because it can also take all these adjectival and nominal endings. Okay, any questions? Then the second point we have is a very trivial one. Şoktаш is an ambitransitive verb. It can be either intransitive or transitive. It can either be to sound, to be heard, like to make a noise, or it can be transitive, playing an instrument. So we can either say Yirvash yuan shokta, like in a round noise can be heard, or you can say transitively mi gitarem shoktem, I play the guitar. You can also say gitar dene shoktem, I play with the guitar literally, but it's functionally means the same thing. Okay, just a quick note. Then auxiliary constructions, a few notes to make that are kind of in line with things we have already discussed. So we have shogalash, which means like to stand up, but also like to stand oneself somewhere. There is not a very good counterpart for this in English. In German, there would be sich stellen, like I stood myself next to the tree or so, like when you go somewhere and stand there. Basically, it means that we have a location of some sort and we are going there to stand, or we are like from a lying position, we are standing up, can be either one of these. And when we have, when we are using it in auxiliary constructions, it takes this aspect of like just coming into being and being somewhere, like the transformation of coming starting, like the whole starting of a status, like Rosage Mogai Motoren Pelet Shogalen, oh how nicely the roses have blossomed. Like the whole blossoming being also something that it comes to happen and it starts. So it was like a telic action, like the transformation of something coming into being, and then it is there. From an spectral point of view, somewhat different is kiash, to lie, like in the status verb, to be in bed lying. And if we look at examples with these, we could say poshkude navlak ertak vusedel kiat. Our neighbors are always arguing, literally arguing, lying. Sai ilisham vuchen it ki, don't literally lie around waiting for good life. Pasham ishtashkai, go work. Okay. Or baikar deke kumsho keche poyezdene kudal kiem. I'm like the third day, it's my third day riding the train to the Baikal, and you're not literally lying for the 3 days. I mean, you might have a bed and you're spending nights there, but you're not bedridden or so. So in all of these, we have the aspect of like being in this position of being on the bed, like of being in a lying position and keeping this position. It's imperfective. It shows that some action or status is being like carried out over a long time period. Third one we have on the list for today is vozash, vozam, to lie down. And if we look at the examples here, this is similar to shogalash, and we're going to look at the similarity in a moment. Teni shosha shokshali. This year, spring was warm. Chala pesh pisen ujagen vozen. Everything turned green, literally turning green, lie down very quickly. Tachimo. So it's again the whole being green thing. We're focusing on the starting phase of the action. We are transforming to something being there. Tachimo pesh ondak pomajal vozenat. why did you get up so early today? So here we literally have the getting up. We have like getting up, lying down. So it's actually like the original lexical meaning of the verb is the exact opposite of what the lexical meaning of the modified verb is in this case. But here when Ivanov falls ill, yeah, I mean, here we in English also actually have a mod like to fall ill. It doesn't denote literally that Ivanov fell over, but yeah. Okay, so here we have the lying position and we are taking up the lying position. So at this point, this might feel a bit confusing, and it is, because if we look at all these verbs that we have been using for in a spectral converb constructions, we can actually draw up a 3x3 matrix where we say we have the standing position, we have the lying position, and we have the sitting position. And for each of these positions, we have a verb that denotes going into this position, like standing oneself somewhere, laying oneself somewhere, sitting down somewhere. Oh, sorry, I'm not going from left to right. Sorry. We have a verb that denotes being in that position. You're standing, you're lying, you're sitting. And we have a transitive verb that denotes taking something and putting it in that position. I take the ladder and I put it against the tree. I take the book and I lie it on the table. I take a vase and I sit it in the window. And all verbs that we have that fall into these 3x3 matrix in Mari can be used in a spectral converb constructions. And let's see if we can remember the verbs. I hope this is not too mean, but for these, like if we can do, everybody gets one of these three positions. See if you know the verb for being in this position, for the verb for going into this position, and the verb for putting something into this position. And if you don't know, don't worry, I'll help you out. Starting with Luan, standing position. Do you know the triplet of verbs?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe it's better if I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, I shouldn't be doing this as an exercise. Putting something, being in a position, standing somewhere, that is shogash. Going into the positions, like standing oneself into this position, that is shogalash. And we're going to see some derived forms using derivational suffixes that we're going to be looking at next week. And putting something into the position is shogaltash. This is this plus a causative derivation, making something stand somewhere. The lying position, this one we just had, kiyash. Going into the position, so laying oneself down, that we also just had, that is vozash. And putting something into the lying position, that is then pishtash. And the sitting position, here we have three forms that are cognate actually. We have being in the position is shincha shinchen. Going into the position, like sitting oneself down, is shincha shinchan. And putting something in that position is shindash, which actually originally is derived from just shinchash plus the causative t, like from this nch plus t ended up being, then became, or also which sometimes the d became d, simplified form of that. Okay, and then the question is, what is actually the difference between these three verbs that are being in a position? Shogash, kiyash, shinchash. Standing somewhere, lying somewhere, sitting somewhere. And basically, I can give you two aspects that are in play here. Because all of them, like the basic spectral meaning is the same in all of these. These are all things that denote long-lasting actions, imperfective things. The two aspects that distinguish them are, one is just, in some cases, it is conventionalized. That we have one pairing is just, that's the one that Mari's use, and we've got all these collocations of it, and we just have to accept it that that's the pairing that they use. That's the one thing that we have in play here. And the other thing is what Klaus Schönig called the Durchschlagen der Vollverbedeutung, like the lexical meaning of the verb breaking through. that we in some shape or form still have the position, the standing position, the lying position, or the sitting position as sort of like a connotation left on it. And if we go back and look at the examples, we can kind of see this. Because when we had Vosage, lying down, lying position, and we have the everything turning green, these might be plants like the grass and the flowers on the ground. So they're more like spread out on a flat plane. But if we go back and look at the Shogalash, standing something oneself somewhere, where we had then the roses blossoming, and like think of roses compared to other like daisies and whatnot that you would have in your garden. These are taller flowers that are really standing in your garden. So it becomes more intuitive to use Shogalash here. In any case, though, these are fine distinctions, and don't worry if you find yourself uncertain which one of these triplets you want to use in any given case.
So it's very similar to the triplets in Russian, isn't it? Like класть, положить, повесить, повесить. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and again, Russian those are also very difficult because you have a lot of irregularity there too, and I mean, Russian verbs of motions, and especially like verbs of transitive verbs of motion, like putting or so, it is yeah, I'm glad that I don't have to teach that stuff. It's pretty wild in Czech too, isn't it? Or yeah.
I haven't got that far in my Russian, but actually Czech helps me a lot. I think it must be like for people who do not speak a Slavic language as their mother tongue, it must be absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So I think like, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that Finnish might seem impossible for people of the speakers of Indo-European languages, but I mean, like for almost everyone who is like from the group of Germanic languages, then Russian and Slavic languages, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is something I always tell people in Mari. They always ask me how difficult Mari is, and I keep saying Mari has nothing on Russian when it comes to like difficulty of learning this language as an outsider, and people do not want to believe me. Because it's just like Russian is the language of intercultural communication, and it's just natural that you learn that, and that Mari is a piece of cake, but Russian is the one that really kicks your ass. It does not fit with people's point of view, but I swear that this is what it's like.
Yeah, it's what I just wanted to say, that actually it's not about a language, it's about a thinking and looking at words, so that you can actually see what happens, what it's meant by the language.
Yeah, but I have this vague memory that I couldn't find it. At some point in a bookstore, I think I saw a book in Kaliningrad many years ago that was like a thick book like this, that was something like Russian verbs of motion are easy. And I was like, yeah, book, your title negates your premise, basically. Like you wouldn't exist if you were true. But I've not been able to find these books. Either I can't remember exactly what it was called, or my memory made this one up. Okay, but let's move on. We have one more verb used in auxiliary constructions this week that is detached from these three, or like from these triplets. We're going to be looking at like some of these we have not yet looked at systematically in auxiliary constructions. We're going to get back to those next week. But the one that we had was, sorry, it's not shuash, it's temash. Sorry, there's a mistake in the slide here. It's not shuash, it's temash. I'm going to fix that. Temash is like to fill up, to become complete, like the full moon here, which on the PDF version of the slides just looks like a cookie, which is probably confusing. But yeah, it's like temash is used when something is done to satiation, until something is complete, until something is full, like the full moon. Like kochken temash is eating one's fill, eating until one has no appetite left. Like kochken temechmo, are you full? Have you eaten your fill? like at night, malen themen omel. I slept at night, but I didn't sleep my fill. I didn't sleep until I needed more sleep. Or moden themash is like playing until one has lost one's desire to play. Like you could say like a dog or so. If you're playing with a dog until the dog is like basically has used up all its energy, or a child in this case, it's more like moden themenatken. If you've had enough playing, if you've played your fill, sit down and do your exercise. Okay, sorry about this mistake here. I'm going to fix that still. Okay, next point is just musical instruments. A quick overview of some of the most important musical instruments in Mari, in the Mari context, where we have kusle, which I mean, this is a boring like Russian gusli, if you know it. It's like gusli. It's like it's sort of like a zither, but not really. It's but like similar to also like the Finnish kantele and the such. Yeah, shuver, bagpipes, tumor, drum, and shialtish, a pipe. And like the Mari bagpipes, they're very different from the Scottish bagpipes, but it is definitely part of the Mari folk music. And like, unless I'm mistaken, all of these pictures are my own from trips to Mariel. Mostly, you will hear these instruments played if you have a chance of going there. And we can see that, the Shialtish Shushbek, whistle. Shushbek, literally, it's a nightingale, but it's then also used for a whistle. And Garmon, yeah, that's from Russian, the accordion. And we can
I
see
love the whistle. It's so cute.
It is.
I so wanted to buy one of them when I saw it. In Bologna, we have a similar one. It's called ocarina, but it's so primitive, and I don't like it anymore since I saw this one.
Yeah,
it's so cute.
Christian had an ocarina with him when we were in Mariel in 2014, unless I'm mistaken. So
yeah, and this one has got a Mari decoration.
It's wonderful. No.
Does anyone notice the meta level of this lesson? The Easter egg that is currently in play? I think not. Give me a moment. Here it is. I had that whistle in my background, in the background of the lesson since the beginning of this course, or not necessarily since the beginning of the course, but since I've been teaching from this room here. Okay. Yeah, and like the person playing that instrument here, we see the different agent noun forming suffixes that we looked at last week. Kuslese, shuverze, tumerze, but shialtish che. Yeah, and whistler doesn't have a really conventionalized form, so here we just have the participle form shushbigdene, shushkushe, the person whistling with a whistle, and garmoncho, that's a very important one. Okay, any questions pertaining to musical instruments or anything of the sort?
What exactly is the difference between Mari bagpipes and Scottish or like Irish bagpipes?
Oh, I am not the right person.
Okay, so I guess I have to do some research.
You have to do some research. The only thing I can tell you is that basically the Scottish bagpipes are also the bagpipes that they have like in northern Spain and whatnot are way more complex with like their stops and the whatever they call it, the what's the word for them? Like I can't remember what the word is for a thing that you like press air out like this.
Okay, I don't know it either, but I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, that the Mari bagpipes are more like that you have the like sort of a wooden pipe going in the top, and then you have like it's like the stomach of a sheep or something like that, and then you have a pipe going out. and you pump it with your arm like this, and you don't have any of the extra shenanigans that like that Scottish or Spanish bagpipes would have. Yeah. Yeah, and about the Cuislé, you got them all over the place, but it's especially the hill Maris are especially renowned as the Cuislé players among the Maris, the stereotypes. Okay, if there are no other questions, then we will move on to the text. It is fairly long, but I hope we will manage. And we have again the ordering Luan, Valentina, Sandra, Sonia, and me. And until Sonia leaves the at some point. And you can ask me for help with vocabulary items or if something is not clear at some point. But we will start. I'll do the title. Mari Chonesto, Mari Sem. So in the Mari soul, that's strike one. There's the Mari melody. And
okay. Okay, so then we have like moro moro sing sing. Should I go on with like,
maybe.
Okay, so the Ostligen moderne Ilish Sarasa. So like if you aren't like wait here or whatever.
Yeah, if it worked for you, sort of like.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
So like with what do you? I forgot what Sarasa is.
Yeah, like make beautiful.
Oh, okay. So what do you make your life beautiful? Or what wait.
Yeah, wait, let me actually see what we say specifically in the...
Should be something like to adore or to adorn.
Yeah, adorn is more like what would we adorn or what would we use to make our lives beautiful? Like what would we adorn our lives with? Okay, then Valentina.
Okay. Mám nám gajže uračo nimkuze Birchin Kalasa. So a restless soul like ours. Basically, how could we express, I guess, our restless soul like ours?
Yeah, that's strike two, by the way.
Yeah, and sorry, there is another piece. Тегай шумгич лекше почламут корним муреlan Mari poet da serize Osip Shabdar Bulaklan. So this proverb was proverb kind of from the heart, was written or said by Osip Shabdar, a Mari poet and author.
Yeah, and it's like literally he gifted this this saying, this thought. Okay, then Sandra.
Mari Kaliken illustrere muro da sem dunyak kritko se kugu verem nalen shuga. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm struggling with, but I think the whole illustrator kind of threw me off. Okay, so...
Do you want to try on your own or do you want help?
I'm trying to find the subject.
That's a good thing to do.
Muro da sem?
Muro da sem Tunya.
Oh, the song and melody world?
Yeah, Yes, yes, like in the figurative sense, like the word of song and melody.
Okay, so okay, that's a word of song and melody. Has been taken a important place in the lives of the Mari people since ancient times.
Very good. That's exactly correct. Okay, then Sonia.
A zajapkach tangalan vestinyash dinyash kayanashke Marien Umerjo Sindene Kalandalt Shuga. So from childhood or from childhood on, it's a bit, bless you, it's a bit difficult to translate. I would say like since the moment the child enters the world or comes to the world, the life of a Maori person is connected with melody.
Yeah, there's one part you skipped over the darkest part of it. So Azajap Gitchtungalen, starting with the baby time, basically.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to put it together. So I said like since the moment or from the moment the child enters the world. So yeah.
And what is Vestunyash Kayemeshke?
So it's like after entering the world.
No, that's basically the first part has that covered. It's like from the moment, like starting from the baby time, like from when one is a baby. Kayemeshke is.
So is it like until leaving the world?
Yes.
So till
exactly.
one's death.
Exactly.
Okay.
Until one goes to the other world. So until one dies, like from birth to death, Amari's life is connected with melody.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I'll do the next one. Easy. Aza shepkashte kia megodem avaje tutlan nijel murum mura da chonishkijo mari shulishim shungdara. Okay, I can't even count the Shumchon strikes anymore. There are too many. So when a little baby, when a little baby is lying in a cradle, the mother sings the child, like him or them, a gentle melody, and basically gives the Mari spirit, like plants the seeds of the Mari spirit in their heart. Sort of something like that. Then back to Luan.
Mari sem dena kushkin yocha isinyekak morashta kushtashtuነ mesh sadlan Mari kechmogai parem godem morita kushtita okchita. So I'm like growing to Mari melodies. A child learns to sing and to dance from like childhood on. So while during any kind of like Mari or whatever kind of Mari like a festival, they can't like be or without singing and dancing.
Yeah, basically that's it. It's like Sadlan is thus, and thus a Mari can, at no matter what kind of during what kind of festival, a Mari cannot do without singing and dancing. Like cannot bear without singing and dancing. Okay, then Valentina.
Perля moremo da kushtim godim kumel naltesh shumchon everta chila yoso mondaltesh. So while singing and dancing together, the mood rises, the heart and soul rejoice, and all difficulties are forgotten.
Very good. Then Sandra.
Muro pasham kushtil landa chonim liplandara. A song makes work easier and soothes the soul.
Very good.
Moremo vakushtomo godem Mari vlak tulo semis garum. Kuslem shiveren shialtuschen puchum shoktenet tumrem peraltenet. When singing and dancing, the Mari people play different musical instruments, the violin, the bagpipes, the pipe, or the pipes and the trumpet, and beat the drum.
Yeah, just kusle, it's not the violin, it's the
Oh, sorry,
gusli.
sorry, it's the yes, gusli.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be for me time to go. So see you next week, guys.
See you next
and
week.
Have a nice weekend. Not weekend, but evening. Bye
Yes.
bye.
Bye.
Right. Okay, then I'll do the next one. Kusle da shuber en tosto sem usgarlan shot laltet. The gusli and the bagpipes are sorry. I lost my line. The gusli and the bagpipes are considered the oldest instruments. Then Luan. Yeah.
Wait. So Jomelan kumalme godem kusle bosnak kugu verim nalen shogen. So while like praying to God, the like gusli wait, oh my god, has taken like an especially great place, or
that's exactly
okay.
Correct. Yeah. Then Valentina.
Kale koi pochesh kuslem yumo ishten da kavashteshokten bara kaliklan palaklan. So according to folklore, God made the gusli and played it in the sky, after which he gifted it to the people.
Very good. And Sandra?
Tošto je olemist podsess kolum kumim šo ilaste otsto indesh kusles mata kuslem shokten. Like according to old people, or is it like the ancestors?
So it's a good question, because if it was just old people, you'd expect shongo.
Okay.
So it's more like the ancestors, I'd guess. Yeah.
Okay. So according to the ancestors, okay. Briefly got confused why one number is written in numbers and the other one isn't. It's not a number.
No, it is a number. It is inconsistent.
Okay. The 20th, in the 30s of the 20th century.
Exactly.
In the Holy Grove, 9 guslis nine gusli players, up to 9 gusli players played in the Holy Grove.
Yeah. And then, of course, in the context is 30s, it means right before the repression started. Okay, then it's my turn. Kalek oipogasho kusle nergen yomakat ulo. In the folklore is what it basically means. there are also fairy tales about the gusli. And one.
Oh, I lost the line again. Wait.
Ikana.
Oh, ikana jumo den ia utchashenet jumem alje iam Mari Kalik Utlarak Yorada. So wait, ikana was the like once upon a time. Or,
yeah.
Okay, God, and then like some kind of oh, this was the devil.
That's the devil, yeah.
Okay, so God and like the devil like made a bet or something. Okay, who, so God or the devil, the Mari people love more.
Yeah, and supposedly this is considered like the oldest fairy tale in the world, that basically like the most universal fairy tale in the world, the whole thing of God and like a God and the devil, or some kind of holy deity and some kind of unholy deity vying for the love and affection of people, that no matter where in the world you are, you have these tales in some shape or form. Yeah, then Valentina.
Tidem palashlan nuno semus sgarim ishtenit. Yumo koslem ia shuvirim. So in order to know it, they made musical instruments. God created the gusli and the devil created bagpipes.
Yeah, this is fairly close to a joke that an accordion player told me, which was what? Welcome to heaven, here is your harp. Here's your harp. Welcome to hell, here is your accordion. Okay, then Sandra.
Vara Mari plaktet shmugai simuskar numilan utlarak keshamanen yodanet. Afterwards, they asked the Maris which musical instrument they liked better.
Mari Vlaklan Utlarak Küslekirchen. The Maris liked the gusli more.
So ia tutlan pesh sirenda küslesh roshem ishten. So the devil was like very angry about this, and like made a hole into the gusli.
Tidije küslem eshak samden vele. So this only improved the gusli.
That's exactly it. Okay, then here we go. And Sandra starts the next page. And here, when we come to the list of names, whenever they come, you don't have to read all the names.
Yeah, I especially love how the first two names are written out, like with patronyms, and then it's just like and the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Mari professional Musik Sowjet Pagiste Attila Nash Tynalen. The Mari professional music started to develop or flourish. Flourished during the Soviet times.
Then Tudlan Ivan Stepanovich Kluchikov Palantai Tujem Kandashude Kandashle Kudet Tujem Indeshude Kolo Kudumsho or Kolo Kudet, I guess. Yakov Andreevich Eshpai Tujem Kandashude Indeshle Tujem Indeshude Kudlo Kumet blah 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 Negesem Ustenet. So here, these important people, they made the foundation of it. Two notes I wanted to make is that we have well, in the morphological analyzer, we still have a problem that we're working on with names. It's like, especially with female patronyms, that would always then have like Ofna or Efna. We haven't gotten any here, but that the analyzer always would have like Ivanovna, like a daughter of Ivan, would always read it as Ivanov na or Ivanov. We're still working on that hitch, but yeah. So these the Russian names are a bit tricky for the analyzer sometimes. So one thing, and about Ishbai, there were two Ishbais. There's Ishbai father, Ishbai son, and Ishbai father who died in 1963, Ishbai son who just he died a few years ago at a ripe old age. I think he was over 90 or so. So don't get confused with Ishbai. There are two of them.
And if I may interrupt about Ishbai, I also found out there is Ishbai grandson who is actually a director, and he has a page on the Czech IMDb, so I have lots of movie to watch now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. And it's like the Ishbais that they're like, I mean, the Mari text will always say it, but it's actually true that they were known like generally in the Russian musical scene. Like if you were into like classical music in Moscow also, you would know who the Ishbais are. Yeah, but then back to Luan.
So pentatonic senan semlan engeten semastarvlak Mari cantatem siutem vosenet kalek murum cholan kelishtarenet. So wait. So they wait, no. Was so like leaning on like melodies in the pentatonic style, like melody masters.
Yeah, it's just a composer.
Like composers.
Yeah.
So the composers wrote like Mari, like what's the English word for this? Like
cantata, I guess.
Okay, I don't know. So then suits and like I guess arranged folk music for the choir.
Yep, that's exactly it. Then Valentina.
Okay, so tujem in the shudo kudlishto ishte samerik compositor Erik Sapaev akpatir Loman ikim shemari operem vozen. So in the 60s, young composer Erik Sapaev composed or wrote the first Mari opera, Akpatir.
Right, then Sandra.
Ozan konservatoriște tunemisch godemak Erik Sapaev kanikul jabishte Mari yalish kosten da kalik murin pugen. During his time of studying at the conservatory in Kazan, Erik Sapaev went to the Mari village in the summertime and gathered folk songs.
Tuden avajat shuko Mari murem palen da avajen shokte shuder murjem Sapaev shke operishkeje evikan murjo semen puten. So also his mother knew many Mari songs, and his mother's song, like the Pleiades, that's just what the constellation is called in Mari, he put into his own opera as Evika's song. Okay, then Luan, the next paragraph.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the first part of Shoktash Urer?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Urer part is clear, but
yeah. Let me, before I give you a folk etymology, let me check what we say in the dictionary, because I think it's just like the sieve star, but like sieve, like the sieve in German. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know why it would be like the sieve star, like, because there's so many, like a grid or so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I did the morpheme boundaries.
Yeah. It's not the girl. It's not the şokteş hüder. It's the şokte şüder. Yeah.
Okay. With the 7 sisters, that would probably common.
Yeah. So it's a very logical reanalysis. Okay, then Luan starts with Kizitse.
So Kizitse Pagadistat Mari sem tislana tigotso compositor flag shke sem saskastisht Mari galig sem kucheldit Mari musikum boyangdarat. So so in like or like also in like the current time the Mari melodies and so yes, like develop and the current compositors use Mari folk melodies in their own like musical creations or something, and enrich the Mari music.
Very good. Then Valentina.
Okay, Mutlan Dunia Muchko Palime compositor Andrei Eshpai, Yakov Eshpai Ergije, Shke Произведение Штиже Шукогана Mari Semim Kochiltin, Da Mari Semim Bayanlikshim Shukokaleklan Unchikten. So, for example, the worldwide well-known composer Andrei Eshpai, son of Yakov Eshpai, has, let's say, used Mari melodies many times in his works, and he has let's say, made the riches of Mari melodies known to many peoples.
Just a bit off topic, that like that so this publicizing of Mari songs seems to occasionally have worked. That like at some point my sister had because she's a music teacher, had a book where there was like songs of the word, and somewhere in there was in German there's like and Cheremistisches Lied, and she said, oh, Cheremis, that sounds like my brother Jeremy, and she googled what Cheremistisch is, and then saw, oh, it's another name for Mari, and she's like, what the hell? Yeah. Okay, but it was Santo's turn.
Tačisam Mari compositor lak koklashe eshe shukotalatam semester blakim alem deman. All these nice people, one Molotovim who was there something? Blah blah blah. His to den ergem achi povim da mulimat. Okay, and I didn't read all the stuff in the brackets out loud, so Ikem Mari professional Ude Ramash compositor al diar Luman operim da motor pamplace balletim vozen, and the other one in it operim vozen. So today's Mari composers are among what was Eshe again? Was that always or no?
Still, like
still.
So like among the Mari contemporary Mari,
even bigger, or does that not work?
It's more like among the Mari contemporary Mari composers. One additionally, one still has to.
There still very many talented composers need to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, Molotov, who wrote the opera Annette. Then Arhipova, the first Mari professional female composer, who wrote the opera Aldiar and the ballet The Beautiful, Beautiful Girl. And her son Gripov, and many more.
Yep, that's it. Okay, ik de Schlenka Sashkin Silne Mari Sem, Sher Pilche Semen, Velaltesh, the Mari Chonen Liplandera. So I'm not entirely sure about this this either, but it's like if one summarizes, were to summarize it, the beautiful Mari Mari melody, it resounds like a pearl, and I'm not sure, do pearls resound? But just this like sher pilche. Pilche is kind of like, we have it in the dictionary as grain or so, but it's also, it's like a singular dip marker of sorts. If you want to say one of something that is usually considered like a mass noun, like a grain of sand, or a corn of salt, or rice, or whatever. So yeah, so it resounds like a pearl, and it soothes the Mari soul. Okay, and so next week when we do exercises, if we manage to have if we have the time, we will also look at a specific song, and that is, oops, I don't want to play it now, Oi Lui Modesh, and here we actually have some a score in the textbook, much like with the recipe. I haven't, or like I don't know how well it will work to try this at home, if it really works nicely, but we'll have a look at the text to this song. And we already saw it when we looked at Ivan Krylya, the song that he sung when riding on this pushcart in this movie a few chapters back. So are there any questions pertaining to the text, or should I stop the recording? Okay, I'll stop the recording then, and people watching at home can jump ahead to next week's exercises. See you then. We're back with exercises, and the very first one we have is, well, they're not really proverbs, more just folk wisdoms, and we want to translate them, and we're starting with Sandra.
Kečmogai saksamat žapisht pobiman. Whatever kind of fruit, it needs to be collected, harvested. Yeah, okay. Yeah, in time.
That's
yeah,
exactly it. Yeah. It doesn't matter what kind of fruit it is, it has to be picked in time, basically. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if I imagined it, but I like the metathesis that I think you said Saksamat instead of Saskamat, which makes it Estonian Germany. Okay, then Sonja.
керек kudo parnyatum poro ik kayak korsta. So it doesn't matter which finger has been bitten or you hurt or something like that.
Yeah, basically it's an imperative. So like bite any finger you want. Maybe you're talking to a cat or so.
Okay. Yeah. So like kayak, so korsta is hurt, like it will hurt. So it's like, it doesn't matter, they will hurt the same.
Yeah. Exactly. So like bite any finger, it's going to hurt all the same. Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
So Mascar catch kusto liesh genat vinyemem sadak muesh. So wherever a bear like might be, it will like always or anyway find its den.
Yes. Yeah. These are some of these wisdoms are like on a level that I have not quite ascended to yet. So I'm sorry if I can't make them make much sense sometimes. Okay, Valentina.
Okay. Motor catch kalanat kelsha. So beauty appeals to anyone.
Yeah. Then Sandra.
Perem catch kunare puksho. Re koslash onshen urmijdesh. What was pukshash again?
Feed.
Okay. And kunar, I don't remember that either.
It's like how much. It's an alternative form for a minyard.
Ah, okay.
So.
How? Like feed the wolf however much you want.
Yes.
Like it will always howl in the forest or something.
Yeah, it will always howl when looking into the forest.
When looking. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that one I think is even somewhat transparent. That no matter how much you feed the wolf, it's going to stay hungry, basically. Yeah.
Jeremy, I have a question. What is the difference between chodora and kozla, if there is any?
Good question. Like the contemporary dictionaries are not going to tell you any big difference. That they're more just like make it look like dialectal distribution. I mean, koshla, it's derived from the word kosh, which is the spruce tree. So it's like a collective noun of that. So like historically, it would have probably been more like a spruce forest or just a needly tree forest in any case.
Yeah.
Whereas chodara could be anything. But I mean, in contemporary usage, I don't think that it is so. I don't think it's the exclusive, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Kerem kečmenjar kužgnat, učaše sadak ulu. So, like, however long, or even if the rope is whatever long, sorry, it's like a bit difficult to express that in English.
Yeah.
There is still its end, or it has an end.
Exactly. Yeah. So no matter how long a rope may be, it still has an end. Yeah. Okay. So exercise 2, I think we're going to skip over, where now we have some folksy wisdoms where we should be translating them into Mari. People can do that on their own if you want, but I mean, in most of these cases, there'd be several variations. But I'm hoping that the general point has been clear with these kitsch and керек forms, that we show that it is like very inclusive indefinite form, like indifference or like inevitability in a way, whoever, whatever, etc. Yeah, and number 3, we're still looking at the indefinites, because now we want to see if we can figure out when we want the ala forms, when we want the iktash forms, and when we want the kitsch forms. Well, we did tweak it a bit to make it a bit easier too, you will see. Yeah, so you have to insert the correct forms and then translate the sentence, please. And I will mark the ones that we've had, and we start with Luan.
So the first one is like alake dide choristo English mora. So someone in this choir sings like wrong.
Yeah, yeah, and so this is a good example of like shall we say a specific indefinite form, that it is like indefinite in the sense we don't know who it is, but it is specific in the sense that we know that this person exists that is singing wrong. That's when we want a la forms. If you're just asking, is anybody singing wrong in the choir, and you don't know if there's somebody or not, then you'd go for the iktash forms. Okay, then Valentina.
Okay, so I think the second one would be alakunam ojno mari kuslerosh deci postna urmash. So at some point, the Gusli did not, I don't know why the infinitive is there, but the Gusli did not have a hole.
Yeah, the Mari Gusli didn't have a hole, and it's not an infinitive. It's historically it's the normalization of ulash, but that also is the form of to be in the second past tense.
Right.
Yeah. And so on this, like ulmash in particular is used when you have something that was like not observed at some point in the past. And if we're talking about something like before recorded history, then ulmash is a good choice. Right, then back to Sandra.
Espai nergen kulinat mo. I'm looking for something like, has anyone heard about Espai?
Yeah, no, because kolinat, what form is this? What person is it?
Third person plural.
No. I'll help you by putting in the morpheme.
Wait. Is it? No. So have you heard?
That's it, exactly. So it's past tense, and then at is the marking of the second person singular. So.
Okay.
And then by exclusion, only one of them really works still, even though it's not what I would have been looking for myself here. Though keep in mind, Espai is not like a random person. Espai is like a famous person. And I'm asking.
Yeah, sorry, that doesn't help me.
Okay.
Do
you want to pass or?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Iktash kunam would it be? It would be. It's like, have you ever heard about Espai, of Espai? And here we see now the difference. In the first two, we had ala forms because it was always something like we are assuming that the unknown thing exists. The person who is singing wrong in the choir, the time in which the Mari Gusli didn't have a hole. But here I'm asking, I don't know if you have ever heard of Espai. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. So that's then a good situation to use iktash forms. Okay.
Can I have a question about this one?
Yeah.
Would it be possible to ask to use ala kushto, just if the sentence was different? Like, have you heard about Espai anywhere in your own country?
Strikes me as, I mean, I can't make categorical or grammaticality judgments, but it strikes me as somewhat strange because I would assume that there, maybe if it was like you say something like I'm like a Swiss person in Marielle, and I say something about Ishbai, and you're saying, oh, so you've heard about Ishbai somewhere. You already know that I know who Ishbai is. Then you might say, ah, ala kushto, you've heard of him, because you already know that I have heard of him. But if you're just asking a yes/no question, it seems a bit not entirely natural, I would say. Yeah, but then it's Sonia's turn for the next one.
Однак, something, Mari suanashte shiver den dimmerem shuktenet. So once or sometime in the past, at Mari wedding, the bagpipes and the drum were played. I would say like everywhere, or every time.
Yeah, so
or somewhere.
You're on the right track. Like not like it can't be an ala if you're going for everywhere or so. It can't be an ala form and it can't be an iktash forms. So if you're going for like everywhere or something like that, you need to have a kitch form or керек form. So we basically only have these three options here. And since it is third person plural,
we don't need this ketchke.
It's not ketchke.
We need ketchkush.
I would have accepted this like everywhere, no matter where at Mari weddings it was played, but the textbook is going for this one, actually.
And how would you translate it? Because it's something I wouldn't absolutely like opt for.
Yeah, it's like in the olden days, back in the day, the bagpipes and drums were played at any kind of Mari wedding, at all Mari weddings. Like without exception, a Mari wedding would come with bagpipes and drums.
So actually it refers to like the type of the Mari wedding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
At any kind of Mari wedding. Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
Mari kasish morash koshtash catch dolin keltesh.
Yeah.
So like anyone can like come singing and dancing to like Mari evening.
Yes. Yeah. So here we're showing everybody, absolutely everybody without exception is welcome. Right. Then Valentina.
Okay. Opera de ballet theatre Kushtirak Verlana. So I'm not sure about this one because I got confused by the Kushtirak Verlana.
Okay.
Is it a verb? It's settled?
Yeah, like verlanash we've had as like to settle somewhere, to be located somewhere also. So like basically to be somewhere in a spatial sense.
Okay, so he or she is just asking whether there is an opera and ballet theater. I see. And then he or she is replying somewhere here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. Now I get it. So it could be alla custo.
That's correct.
Yeah, now it makes sense. Thanks.
And so this kushtarak, this is this like the thing that we have met as a comparative suffix, which I also marked as like an attenuative suffix. Like if you say shongerak, older, it doesn't mean like old, usually doesn't mean older than somebody else. It means just like a bit old or so. And yeah, this is something that Mari like to do, that they attach it also then to question words. So like whereabout.
Whereabout.
So.
Yeah.
It's just like sort of an emphatic marker of sorts. Okay, then Sandra gets number 7.
Kizit Mari Kalix Simiskar and Danish Oktash Tunemash. Probably Iktash Mogai.
Let me see. No, no.
Okay.
Okay, because iktash mogai is like adjectival, and it would need a noun to modify.
Okay. Well, then iktash kushto.
That is correct. And do you want to translate so?
Can you learn to play to the Mari folk instruments these days or now? Tuglish Kislem Mutlan Kurik Mari Rayonishto da Yoshkur Lashte Tuniktat. Yes, you can. The Gusli, for example, is taught, they teach in the Hill Mari region and in Yoshka Ola. Okay, yeah, I should have read the second sentence.
Yeah, that helps then. Yeah, because it's asking like anywhere, can I do it anywhere? And it's like, again, iktash, because we don't know if there is a place or not when we're asking this question. Okay, then Sonia gets the last one with a modicum of challenge, because you still have two options to choose from.
Die artisten keď kustat sajen vashlet. So like they welcome or they accept this artist well anywhere.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Yeah. And it's more like since there's no overt subject, it's more like impersonal. This artist is marked. Here I have a somewhat random question. Does Czech actually do that too? Third person plural as impersonal?
We don't have, Valentina, feel free to correct me because I think you perceive the language slightly differently when you are not a native speaker. But in Czech we use third person singular.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's not like in Russian where you can use the third person plural for kind of impersonal sentences. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious. Okay. And then Luan gets the 0 challenge one.
So I start iktash mugai galit morem tunamina. So let us like learn like some kind of Mari song.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is now like a fringe case where I would have been just as happy with ala mogai here, like, but our Mari native speaker preferred iktash here. Okay, let's still, since this is a comparatively easy one, let's also do a translate into English one, still starting with Valentina.
Okay. Ivanov, te tradiet kushto, a tak ni modeć posnaš koliš tolenat. So, Ivanov, where is your exercise book? Have you again come to school like empty-handed, or you forgot all your stuff at home?
Yeah. Did you again come to school with nothing, basically?
With nothing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and so careful with the translations, because this is now actually not about the indefinite forms anymore, but about the exact meaning of the possessive suffix. Sandra?
Titradiet kivilash kizetich mugayim oyerashat otpale. Okay. Okay, the notebook in the shop is now full.
Yeah, like the shops are now full of.
Full of. Yeah. Okay. The shops are now full of notebooks. You don't know which to choose.
Exactly. And yeah, here, so you very correctly did not literally translate the possessive suffix. It's not like your notebooks, but it's like those notebooks are, so the notebooks that we were just like already talking about in some shape or form. Right, then Sonia.
Tien menjar competet eshe ulo. Ik tежem melam pu. how do you still have the sweets?
Yeah, or how many sweets do you still have?
The menyar. So how many sweets do you have? Give us some.
Give me.
Give me some.
Yeah, or rather give me one. This is a beautiful example of how possessive suffix third person singular. Oh, very nice suggestion by autocorrect there. How we have ikte, one, and then possessive suffix third person plural, just third person singular to indicate one of them. Like one of this group that we have just been talking about, which is like the sweets you still have. Okay, then Luan.
Televisor dena reklamiro batlema kampetet tamle ulmash. So the sweets advertised on TV were like tasty.
Yeah, very good. And so here we can see again, they're sort of like attention focusing or so. This possess. I can't even find the right words to articulate what it does. Okay, Valentina then.
No ergim in the palem sai regisseur olat spectaclet mod kochkelchen. So, well, son, now I know that you are a good director. Your show was play maybe. I really like your show. It was very good. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. And then Sandra.
Charlotte, erteshin teatrishkemeyen ujenat. Tunam kayen kertin omel spectacular kirchen mo. I'm guessing Charlotte is the name.
No, do you remember? Would be a nice name to have just to confuse people, but yeah.
Do you remember seeing me?
Careful, you're
no.
thinking Ujenat, but it's Ujenat.
Inviting.
Yes, very nice.
Do you remember you invited me to the theater recently? Yeah, then be able to, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not. I'm not able to go then.
I couldn't go then.
When you invited me, basically.
Yeah.
At that time. Do you like the? Do you know? Do you like the piece?
Yeah. Did you like the piece? Yeah, the play.
I did. Okay.
Yeah, past tense. Yeah. Oh, and I just now realized expansion on a meme that we already know. It would be like sorry. Where am I? Ujenam. I invited a girl and Ujenam. I saw a mole. Almost the same. Right, then Sonia, the last one.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt. I'm still trying to understand the sense that number 6 is trying to convey here.
Okay.
So do you remember you invited me to the theater earlier, like recently?
Yeah.
I didn't make it.
Yeah.
Did you like the? Did the person not realize the other person was not there?
No. I mean, it's like you invited me to the theater. I couldn't go, but you went anyway. So you went to the theater without me. You saw the play, and I'm asking what the play was like that I missed.
Okay.
Okay, is that clear now, or is it still confusing?
Yeah, it's clear. It's
Okay, then Sonja.
Je zit denne poškudo bërtështo ilëna, Maxim shole chet saj yoltashim lian. I would start from the end. Maxim was a good friend of mine.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I'm just thinking about a form like your Sholyo. It's a younger brother. Sholyo. Yes. It's like your younger brother, or the younger brother from the family.
Your younger brother is correct. I mean, it is from the family, but that ties in with the first sentence. Should we do the first sentence still?
Yeah.
Then it makes more sense.
We lived with your family as neighbors in one house.
Yeah, like we were neighboring house. It's like in the house next door.
Okay. Yeah, and Maxim, your younger brother, was at the time my good friend.
Yeah, that is correct. But still, like extra task, Sholje chat. What is it morphologically? What can you segment it into morphemes?
Sholyo. That's the basic form.
Yeah.
And then uch would be used. I would say it's a possessive suffix related or used with family members.
That is correct. For which person?
Third person.
No, second.
No, second person.
Second
so
singular.
It's kind of like reduplicated here.
Yes, exactly. It's like we have two possessive suffixes of the second person singular here. We have first the ch, which is the irregular form that we have with family names, like Sholjich, your younger brother, Ergich, your son, etc. And then we still have the regular possessive suffix, second person singular, attached to the end. And so why two possessive suffixes? Because they're serving different functions here. The first one is possessive, really, like your younger brother. And the second one is this non-possessive function, this attention focusing function. Yeah. That we want to have an example of this because you find this in the corpus quite a bit, that you have 2 times the same possessive suffix, where you could at first think they're just making extra sure you got it with double marking it, but it seems pretty clear that it's just 2 different functions to the 2 different possessive suffixes here. Like where we also, and it doesn't have to be the same possessive suffix. We also had, if you remember this song where we once had, where it was like Kidestemje Piledish Arshash, in my hand, there is a flower bouquet. But so Kidestemje, like Kideste in the hand, Kidestem in my hand, Kidestemje in my hand, and then possessive suffix, third person singular extra on it. Okay, are there any questions about this point before we progress to the next point, which is going to be a completely different thing? Okay, so next point is derived adjectives. We want to know what they mean. We want to know what the base form is. And we start with Luan. So you can just say, translate the adjective, give the base form, and give the translation of the base form. And then on to the next person.
Okay, so Apriljash, it's like for April, and like it's derived from like April, April.
Yeah. Very good. Then Valentina.
And then we have Lat Kandashis Kurem is also related to the 18th century. And I guess Kurem is the base form century.
Yeah, very good. Then Sandra. From Oksa, yeah, because you could say like this is a place or like a hiding place for money or something like that.
Yeah,
or like
from Oksa money. Sorry.
Yeah. A month or like a bag for money or something like that. Then Sonia.
Oszalge, there is the ending alge, which makes the quality kind of like approximate. It's like whitish, and it's the base word is osh, white.
Yeah, osho, both of them.
Osho.
Yeah. Then Luan.
So Nuyan means like with honey, and it's derived from mu, honey.
Yeah, I would like honey if that was a thing in English, but I don't think it is. Valentina.
We have onchilniso. I guess that's like frontal from oncho.
Yeah, from onchil. There, I mean, you like in 2 steps, you could say it's from onchilno at the front, which is from onchil, the noun, the front.
The noun, the front.
Yeah. Then Sonia. Sorry, Sandra.
I can do it, and then Sandra can or whatever. Yeah. Jot elase. There is the ending se and plural form la, and I would say it's like in foreign countries or from foreign countries.
Yeah, like you could say Jot elase to Nemchevlak, students from foreign countries or something like that. And this is like a cool thing that you can have this first a plural marker and then a derivational suffix, which is like cross-linguistically not that common, but it is fairly common in the Volga Kama region. The languages like to do this, to have derivational suffix after like inflection suffixes. Okay, now Sandra.
Shialge, where we have alge again, and so silverish from she, silver.
Very good. Then Luan.
Sharam, like milky, and it's derived from shar, milk.
Then Valentina.
So nimodimo, I guess it comes from nemo, nothing, and can it mean something like useless or
like without nothing,
without nothing?
Yeah. So it's a nice case of double negation or whatever we want to call it. It's like if you're like a person without anything that doesn't have anything left, would be like nimodemo ideme. Then Sandra.
Then Lümle from Lüm, name.
And Lümle means?
Like with a name? No.
It has a more figurative meaning than that. I mean, that's
famous. Was it famous?
That's it. Exactly. Okay, then Sonia.
Arnyash. The suffix is ash, and it's like for a week. Arnya is the base word.
Right, then Luan.
So Lümdeme, which means either nameless or named.
Yes.
So yeah. So which one do we want now?
Let's go for the nameless one.
Okay, so Lümdeme, and then the it's derived from Lüm, name.
Yeah. And now I'm still expanding that the sentence I always have like Lümdeme üderem Ujenam, like I invited a nameless girl, or
Lümdemo, like a snowless.
A snowless mode. Why stop when we're winning? Okay, Valentina.
Then we have Oshlo. I guess that's like smart, intelligent from Osh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll note that this one I have never encountered in the wilds. That I think this is like a sort of, you find it like in like style guides and neologism handbooks and whatnot, but the normal word here would be Ushan to say this. Yeah, then Sandra.
Tengiash. Probably from Tengi. Wait, that was Rugal. Yes,
but it is Rugal, but your confusion is coming from the fact that the same stem in Russian means money, like dengi.
Yeah, and we already had money, which was Oksa.
Exactly.
What was again? Like, yeah, the whole monthly thing doesn't really work here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like I'm getting a usage example from the dictionary. It would be like worth costing a ruble or so. Like,
okay.
I could say like.
So one of these examples where it's bordering on purposive. Yeah,
exactly. Or more like bordering on possessive. It's kind of hard to draw the line, but I could say like let's say this is not going to make much sense with inflation anymore, but something like a lu tenge ash olma would be like a 10 ruble apple or something like that. Like an apple that costs 10 rubles. Yeah. Okay, then Sonia.
It comes from the noun with water, and it's like watery or from the water.
Yes, more like from the water, like aquatic, that you could have like aquatic plants, aquatic animals, things that are in the water. And if you have vudan, it would be watery, like having water, like watery soup or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
Millionlik, it's meant for me. It's derived from million, which is the genitive form of me.
Yeah. Then Valentina.
We have kuremash, and I guess it could be something like eternal. It's from Kuren century.
Yeah, very good. Then Sandra.
Mnemonik, from mnemo, nothing. So like for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Good for nothing, sort of something in that direction. And
Sonia doesn't know what paida means. There is the ending le, which means like it's like something, but I don't remember what paida means.
Paida is like use, worth, value, or so. And the le is more like having something. It's a Turkic suffix for having something.
So it's like valuable, having value.
Yeah, exactly.
Value.
Yeah. And this is a case where this is borrowed from Turkic, and I need to check this before I say it. I think it's Arabic originally, that it's like
I think you talked about it last time. Like I have here an imperative exclamation mark and a note saying Turkic.
Yeah.
So
yeah. In any case, the point being here that both paidala and paida, it's like it's transparent within Mari morphology, but both it was borrowed with the suffix already. That you like in Turkic language, you will have the counterpart to both paida and to paidale. One moment, I'm just over here going to look up what it is in Tatar. Yeah, in Tatar, it's faidale is useful and faida is then use. Okay, and yeah, it's the usual thing that since Maris don't, F becomes P, which is again like across linguistically a very common substitution if you don't have a F in your language. Like I believe that same thing happens in Korean with internationalisms, for example. Okay, yeah, now it's again inserting in the appropriate place, and we're starting with Luan.
En tamle koffem italienste nam. So I drank the tastiest coffee in Italy.
Yeah, sounds plausible to me. Yeah, the thing that always irritates me in Italy, it's not just that you get like super good coffee in like fancy cafes, it's that like you in the train station for €1 on like random stands get better coffee than you can get anywhere in Germany or Austria.
Vienna is still good.
Yeah, comparatively good. You can get pretty good coffee, but it does cost you like €3 or so.
But you have much better bread, at least in our region, like in the north. Bread is disgusting. So
that is true. That's the one thing that that always surprised me in Italy. And also, another thing that sometimes surprised me is how bad the drink selection sometimes will be. You have like amazing restaurants with just really great food, and then the drinks are like you can have Fanta or Coke or water.
Yeah, or really, really expensive compared to Czech Republic or anywhere. Yeah. So each place has its own plus and cons.
Yeah, and then they sell you Fanta as aranciata.
Yes. You hear aranciata and you think, oh, that's going to be something really nice and fancy, and it's goddamn Fanta. Okay, then Valentina is up next.
Yeah, so taci se keqe Milana pesh kuanle, I would say. Ergina shkolim tunem pitaren. So today or this day made me happy, I guess.
Me or what is Milana?
Actually us. Us. Happy. Our son finished school.
That's correct. Yep. Then Sandra.
Terve ulatkin muyan shudo chayim good. If you're sick, drink honeyed herbal tea.
Yes.
Mogai limle Mari compositorim palada. So which famous Mari composer do you know? Do you know like plural?
Yeah. Yeah, then Luan.
Shogan Tasaleklan Pesh by Dana. So what?
No, I gave it away with the cursor, but you already knew it.
Oh, okay. So an onion is very good for the health.
Right, and this time Valentina gets the 0 challenge sentence.
Okay, Geroilo Ilishnergen Yochavlak Shkolish Tutunemi. So children, or at school, children learn about the life of heroes.
Yeah, or like their heroic life or so.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, then now we're looking at some ash forms where we are hopefully they're gonna make a bit more sense in context than up above when we didn't have any context. And we start with Sandra.
No. Koloting, yeah, inflation again.
Yes, exactly.
Koloting, kindem poisa požadosta. Please give me 20 it was bread, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, bread, 20 breads for 1 ruble each, so to say.
No. It's the right sentence, but the wrong segmenting. It's like there's inflation, but it's not quite that bad. This is one phrase. So please give me the 20 ruble bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bread for 20 rubles.
Yes, exactly. Okay, then Sonia.
Concert in the Schle something Liesh. I would say Jan Barash. No. Okay. Telzash. No.
That would mean that the concert will last 2 months.
Okay. It'd be more like a festival.
Or like, oh, sorry, no, 90 months. What is a better unit of time that a concert might last? 90.
Don't tell me that it's minutas.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I was wondering, like, this would make sense because like it's a time unit, but I would think like English 90 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
Cock, like this could be literally anything depending on what kind of excursion.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm not going for Iyash, I'm not going for Jan Variash. I don't know. Like, let's say Cock Kitchash.
That's what they want, but I mean, what do I know? If you're going to the South Pole or to Mars, then 2 years would sound good too.
Okay, so wait, so Cock Kitchash excurse Shabishta Shukim Ushin Shuktana. So like in the like excursion that like lasts 2 days wait no, it's like also in the time or during the excursion that lasts like 2 days we have seen a lot.
Exactly, that's it. We got to see a lot of things or so. Okay, then Valentina.
Okay, so Lu Tilzash, I would say Azamom Ishten Moshta.
Yeah.
So what can a 10-month-old baby do?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So with Azah, it's like in Meadow-Mari, this just means baby. So you wouldn't have like a 10-year-old baby or so. In some other varieties of Mari, it's a bit wider that you also use it for a bit older children, but I don't think you'd use it for a 10-year-old anywhere as far as I know. But this is something that the Maris will disagree on, like if a 4-year-old is still an Azah. Not for Meadow-Mari speakers, but for other varieties, sometimes it could be. Okay, then Sandra gets the, no, it's not it, it's your challenge one. You still have one challenge, a little bit of challenge.
What was it? Vela again? It's one of these little words.
Vela is only.
Ah, okay. I'm going for Jan Variash, Pashadarem, Matish Vela Puat. You're only giving the what's it, wage? There it is. The wage for January in March.
Almost. What conjugation class is puash?
Okay, they.
Yeah.
So money wages for January are only paid in March.
That's exactly it. Okay, and so then that gives Sonia the 0 challenge one.
So it means that Sonia will answer correctly, almost, she hopes. But Chambashke, Kandashle, Iashliyesh. My grandfather will soon be 80 years old.
Great. So now we have 2 short biographies that, I think we can still manage to read these sentence by sentence. Maybe I will participate year 2 after Valentina in the queue. But first up is, for the first sentence, it's Luan.
So Ivan Stepanovich, Kluchnikov, Balantai, Kolo with Nil made. Yeah, thanks Nilusha. Après jeszcze tishem kandash should kandash the kudem show. Jeszcze Kaksha Mari Yale Shochen. So Ivan Stepanovich Kluchnikov Balantai was born in the village Kaksha Mari. Wait, oh no, it's like is this the name of the village, or is
it's
this
the name
like
it's the
a
village.
village
The name.
where, okay.
Yeah.
So on the 24th of April in the year 1886.
Right, then Valentina.
Okay. Avaja küsledene sain shokten ulmash da ergijimat shoktash tunikten. His mother played the gusli very well and taught it to her son.
Vanya Klučnikov muziklan peš šimanlien da tutem ačažden avaže uzangish muzikalnej učiliščiš tunemash kolten ulet. So Vanya Klučnikov, and here we see again just the Russian principle of having a whole lot of short forms of names that are often not even shorter. He was very like interested in music, and his parents sent him to Kazan to a musical school to study. Then Sandra.
Tunem pintartmek todo ish Peterburg sto dirijolan tunemin. After finishing his studies, he still went to he still studied to become a, what's it called?
Conductor.
Conductor, thanks. In St. Petersburg.
Palantaj oktябрь revolucí dečvara krasnokokšajskašte ikamše Mari chorem čumeren da tužim in de šudo kolo kumše ještě noskošto chora smotrašto kokimšoverem nalen pětnický choržo počeš. So after the October Revolution, he started the first Mari choir in Krasnokokšajsk, and in year 1923 in Moscow. I don't know what's smotršto.
What do we
Yeah,
say?
just
Smoter is a public showing festival.
So in a public showing festival, this choir won the second place, or was the second after Pětnický choir.
Yeah, which must be a very famous conductor. So, but I would not know of him. Yeah, and Krasnokokšajsk, this is Yoshka Ola before it became Yoshka Ola. This was its name in the 20s. Then Luan.
Palantai shugo Mari Murim Bogen da koncertiste Morashlan Kelisteren. So Palantai like collected or gathered lots of Mari songs and arranged them to like sing them in the concert.
Yes, and then Valentina gets the last sentence.
Umerja tujem indeshdo kolo kudimsho ishte kurlin. So his life ended in 1926.
Yep. Okay. So now we come to Andrei Eshpai, and I'll do the first one. Andrei Eshpai tujem indeshude kolo visumshe irste kozbudem Jansk olashte shochen nokum iash limush godem yesheje moskosh ilash kuznen. So Andrei Eshpai was born in 1925 in Kosmodemyansk, but when he was 3 years old, his family moved to Moscow. And then Sandra.
Mm-hmm. Acharge lumen Mari compositor Jakov Eshpai, Palanta Semenak Mari Kalik Murem Pogen, da nunen Nes Negizev Jesus Negizesh Musikem Uzin. What is Negizesh?
So Neges is a foundation, and Negizesh is like based on the foundation, but often figuratively based on something.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, there it is. His father, the famous Mari composer Jakov Eshpai, collected Mari folk songs just like Palantai, and wrote music on the basis of these.
Very good. Then Sonia.
Moscow Andrejshim Iash Musikalin Ashkolem Tunem Petaren. In Moscow, Andrei started the music school at the age of 7.
Almost. It's
he finished.
He finished a 7-year music school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all like it's the attributive function, like Shim Iash Musikali.
Yes, exactly. This is all one noun phrase here. He finished a 7-year musical school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Then Luan.
So during the war, he was a translator.
Valentina.
Sardecibara conservatoriște aspiranturiște tunemin. So after the war, he was doing his PhD at the Conservatory Music Institute.
Very good. Andrei Eshpai Latvic udla concerten cum balletten kok operetten orchestrelan vozimo shuko pro izvedenien after show. So Andrei Eshpai is the author of more than 15 concertos, 3 ballets, 2 operettas, and of much like work written for the orchestra. And then Sandra again.
Tigak talentan compositor
Witle.
Witle utla filmam muzikum uzin. This
This Tagak, you could also just say also.
Okay. Also, the talented composer wrote music for more than 50 films.
Very good. Then Sonia.
Московичи снег идет, да мола моражен уло Россия что юратен мурат. The Muscovites, and it's snowing, and other of his songs people love to sing in Russia.
Yeah, like across Russia, people like to sing them. Then Luan.
So Andrei Eshpai två čestvišteše Mari Kalik semem kučelin tudin motolikšim ulo tunjalan portion onšikten. So like using the Mari folk melodies in his own works, Andrei Eshpai wait. like basically like showed or
Mhm.
opened or showed like it's like beauty to the whole world.
Exactly. Okay, then Valentina gets a sentence with a lot of Russian.
Познак тидим венгерски напеви тужем индешу до видле кум симфонические танци тужем индешу до шимле ик кимше песни горных и луговых Мари тужем индешу до кандашлекум. Да, сны произведение влак нерген ойлаш лиеш. I would say he is especially famous for his works, венгерские напевы, симфонические танцы, песни горных и луговых Мари, and сны.
Yeah, the translations are done here. It's like, especially one can especially this can be said about his works, blah 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 blah, is what it literally is. Like this can be said about how he is opening like the beauty of the Mari people to the world. Okay, then I get the last sentence. Koktujem latvismše I kandashmše noyabršte Andrei Eshpai ilishtene cheverlasen. It's very poetically basically saying on the 8th of November 2015, Andrei Eshpai bade life farewell. So yeah. Okay. Exercise 9. I think I'm going to skip this because it's just looking up what we've got in the textbook chapter, like what it is to play these different instruments. Exercise 10, yeah, I guess we can still do it. So this is a different topic now, musical instruments, some more text to translate. I'm going to participate again, starting with Sandra.
Kuzle Mari, kan ik in Juratema instrument leren. The guzli is the most beloved Mari folk instrument. No, was.
It was one of the most beloved, like
one of. Okay.
Like ik and blah blah blah. Yeah, Sonia.
Kugeze kuchanalak tudem dönes ilish tutkara shuchko sui gogonmat shuktenet. Our ancestors played this during just a second, like quiet life, or when they were troubled, or so they basically played it when their life was quiet, or when there were terrorists in their life and wars. So
exactly,
like whatever was happening, regardless, they always played gusli.
Exactly, both in quiet life and in times of misfortune and during terrible wars.
Jeremy, sorry, I have a small note. Last time when we were talking just about the instruments, and I translated kusle as violin. Actually, violin in Czech is a housle, and I was kind of like, today I remembered that, and I looked into the etymology of this Czech word housle, which obviously in Russian would be g, and I found out that there must have been some connection between Hosle, and also Kantele. So there is like, if you check it out, for example, in dictionary, so it's definitely worth noting, and that would be something for Samsa, I would say.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that he knows it. If we asked him, then.
I'll have a look at this, but I was not aware of this etymological connection and this trap specifically for Czech-speaking students of Mari. Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
Historiște Mari Lușavui Vlachen Küsle Puceș Murimeș Nagen Oilalteș. So in history, like and then I don't know, so like it was talked about or not.
Yeah, basically like there are historical records about what is saying, like in history one talks about blah blah blah.
So about, and then like something, the songs of the Mari elders. I don't know how to insert Krishna Pochesh, and I don't know.
Like the songs that are accompanying the Gusta playing.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is also meaning that Pochesh can have like in accompanying something, like to sing accompanying a piano or something like that. Okay, then Valentina.
Okay, so akparsim mumarinen marsishtim mamich perdein yallain murishtim esho latindeşle kuremişto kalekişte sign palenit. So Akbars and Mumarin's march, as well as Mamich Berdain and Yalla's songs were well known by the people still in the 19th century.
Very good. Then Kiset Küsle Utlarakshe Kurik Mari Vlak Koklaste Tushtejat Shuen Vashlialtesh. So today the Gusli is most of all encountered among the Hill Mari, and even there rarely. Yeah, and then Sandra, the last one.
Sheat Shuen Tudam Chimari Vlak Koklaste Ujashliesh. Okay. It can I'm kind of wondering about the Shuen there.
Oh, rarely it is.
That's this one. Okay. It can, it can still be seen, or it is still seen rarely among the adherents of Mari religion.
Yeah, still rarely or something like that. I just noticed here that the stress marking is wrong. I'll have a look at that. Okay. I think we're kind of getting tired of reading and translating, or yeah. So I'll skip over the next one where it's again reading and putting in the right tense, and I'm not something. There's a mistake in the exercise key here that I need to have a look at. I'll just write. I'll fix that at some point. And here also a letter of complaint received by the head of an ensemble. A whole different genre, but we have done enough reading for now, so we can skip over that. But for the last two things we can, or what we can still do numbers 13 and 15, I think, where there are different grammatical points and or different points that we're looking at and just translating into English. I can't remember who did the last sentence.
My turn. I think Sandra was the last one. So on show, a me Michael Jackson guy kushtin moshtem. So look, I can dance as Michael Jackson.
Yep. Then Luan.
Isi uderem prinsesse guy cornische. So my little daughter wants to like look like a princess.
Then
iziet godim kagai linjet ile. So when you were small, I'm not sure if is it like who did you want to resemble, or just who were you like?
Who did you want to be like? Basically?
Who did you want to be like? Yeah.
Like more like who was your hero?
Who was your hero?
Then Sandra.
Kuchaman fantastische juiste kugesan guy kuju. My grandfather's beard is as long like what's he called in English? Väterchen Frost.
Yeah, Grandfather Frost or Santa Claus, we could just say. Yeah. Father Christmas. Yeah.
Tudungai poro aideme kazat shagal. So a good person like this,
like him, her, like,
or like him or her, is nowadays rare.
Yep. There are few good people like him, her nowadays. Okay, and the last one goes to Luan.
Yevan guy dena kuderemem okshu. So like I don't feel like talking to people like Yevan.
Yep.
I was wondering about why there's like this okshu construction used and not like like negated desiderative or something.
My guess here is that it's less that you're talking about that you like have made the rational decision that you don't want to talk with the Yuvan type people, but more that you have like an emotional dislike or so. It's just like mir ist nicht danach, mit solchen Leuten zu reden. Like kind of, it's I don't have the energy. I don't feel it. I don't want it. Okay, then last one with random sentences to translate into English, and we're starting with Valentina.
Okay. Timolan telefonem otnao. Kokin shokechitelat yingir ten kiem. So why are you not picking up the phone? I've been trying to call you for 2 days.
Yeah.
So, neležitnal, tači se vašli mašna vojkičen iršen lekten vozen. Oh dear. What is that? Nelesh as in like difficult?
Into difficult, but this is like nelesh itnal. It's a standing phrase. It's almost synonymous to vuyesh itnal.
Again?
Yeah, it's almost synonymous to vuyesh itnal. Like, don't take it into Like one vuyesh itnal is don't take it into your head. Nelesh itnal is don't take it into heavy, which just means
okay, so so don't take this to your heart or something.
yeah, like sorry, basically.
Okay. Sorry. Our meeting today was what's Hirschen?
Completely.
Was completely maybe postponed.
Yeah, but vui gechem. What would vui
by my
gechem?
boss? By my boss?
No,
No.
vui is
Head.
exactly. So it completely went out of my head. What could it mean?
It could our meeting today completely slipped my mind.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then Sonia.
Кругопиен ужин, пирсен неменярят, лeden шагalen agel. So like there was a big dog, or like visible, or seeing a big dog.
That's it.
So yeah, seeing a big dog means that what is lyd?
Ludash is to be afraid.
Okay. Like I understand the words, but I'm trying to make sense of them. So leden shugalen ogel, so it's like not standing, being afraid.
Yeah, but remember shogalash is also used in
yeah, you told us last time. So like make afraid. So that's the transitive meaning.
That would be the transitive. It's more like Lüden Shogadash. It's like to take fright, to get scared or so. That's literally like getting afraid standing somewhere, but it's just like getting afraid.
So like the cat never gets afraid of a big when it sees a big dog.
Never. It's more like not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like seeing a big dog. My cat wasn't afraid at all. It's like the cat is a badass and doesn't let the dog scare it, basically. Yeah. Then Luan.
Poram kuse sholte da the guy tamle yunte mash ogashli. So how do you brew like the homemade kvass? Like it's like so tasty. It's like not possible to like eat one's fill, but drinking.
Yeah, drink one's fill. Yeah, you can't get enough of it. Basically, on drinking. That's exactly correct. Then Valentina.
Kizitat dide pasham ishten kiet mo. So I guess like are you busy or very busy doing this job right now?
Yeah, are you still working on this?
Or are still okay?
Yeah, and so it's literally the line, but here we are stressing the lengthy, how long it's taking to do this task. But you're still working on that. Okay, then Sandra.
Marie turge mogai motor onchen temin omkert. How beautiful Mari embroidery is, I cannot get enough of looking at it.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't see my fill or something like that. Okay, then Sonia.
Beledischen Alamolan Shemen Wozen. Like my flowers and Shem. Okay, so they for some reason they turned black.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and last one goes to Luan.
Mangiskem buren shobalium tushto yoltashim black surprise manen kuchgerat. So I entered my home, and there my friends shouted surprise.
Yep. Surprise bar is always very popular, especially in COVID times. Okay. So last point in the exercise this time, there was no YouTube clip, but instead there were the lyrics for Oi Louis Modesh, one of the Mari classics, Oh the Martin plays. I think I was going to suggest that we could translate, but these like folk song texts are always especially difficult. So I think that's a bit of a heavy point to end the lesson on. So that's something you can do on your own. And if any questions come up, we can discuss it next time. So in the next chapter, we're going to continue looking at Mari music, but in the next chapter, we're going to move from more like old-fashioned fancy music to the stuff that's happening on the stages nowadays and what is happening on the radio, a topic that we already know something about. If there are not any acute questions, I'm going to now stop the recording. Okay, so everybody watching at home, see you in the next unit.